So you've been here for 36 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Thai people?
We know how it is over here. You know, we know what you have going over here for the guys, you know, and all these sleazy bars. Well, we want to go to one for the girls. Wow. Dare you kick my dog? She's got to apologize to my dog. So I go over to the Thai nun teacher and say, you have to weigh the... I'm not weighing any dog.
That's a long way down, folks. Pete here from Thairish Times. What's the story, as we say in Ireland? How's it going? So, the comment section of our last video blew up. You guys wanted more. So we deliver here on Thairish Times. We've got part 2 coming with Paul Wallis. And if you don't know who Paul Wallis is, he is a man from England that has spent 36 years in Thailand. That is an extremely long time. So we have a couple of stories for you today. Paul is going to tell us about a job he had as a translator and an adventure he had with elderly American women in Bangkok. He's also going to tell us a story about how he took 47 Thai teachers to New Zealand and they didn't speak a word of English and what happened there. He's also going to tell us about how he avoided paying a dowry to his Thai mother-in-law to marry his wife. And then he's also going to give his opinion on what he thinks about Thai people after spending 36 years in Thailand. SkyTrain there, BTS. So folks, I have so much more content to come on this channel. I have like 10 videos to edit. So we've got loads more coming, so don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and leave me a comment. Like I said, lots more to come. I'm flat out. I have a diary now. I'm scheduling interviews. I'm literally in the next couple of weeks I'm going to film as much content as I possibly can. My whole sole focus is on growing the channel at the moment. We're going to grow this baby. Let's do it. Anyway, let's go meet Paul Wallis, and thank you very much for all your support. Cheers. Paul, thanks again for doing this. This is our second episode with you.
Right.
And you know, I know a good story when I hear it, and we've got some good ones in this one.
Yes,
so,
yes, they are quite comical.
For anyone who doesn't know, you've spent 36 years in Thailand, okay?
I have indeed, yes.
So you're a man that has experienced a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to delve back into a job that you had as a translator.
Okay.
Okay, what year are we talking here?
We would probably be looking at 1994, 1995.
94, 95, when I was riding my bicycle around.
Okay,
just started school, and Thailand was just, I didn't even know Thailand existed.
Okay.
Well, anyway, let's get into your story here.
Okay, so I'd been a teacher for a few years, and you know, thrown in at the deep end, government school, you know, 25 hours a week, and I quickly realized what that was all about. You know, you just have fun with them for 40 minutes and 50 minutes and make sure English is used, you know. And so I had a good time doing that. And then, mainly because of my Thai language, I got headhunted by another school in Minbury, actually, called Mimpasat Witia. I got headhunted by the principal. Now this school was different to other schools in as much as it wasn't a government school and it wasn't a for-profit school either. It was run by a foundation, a Chinese foundation. And the principal, lovely woman, very driven, she knew that the Thai education system sucked. She knew that. You know, it doesn't produce people who can think outside the box. It just produces followers, you know. And so she had the money to do something about it. And so she put a proposition to me, you come and work for me. She said, I'll pay you 10,000 baht more than you're getting right now, but you won't be teaching the students. So what I want you, you know, and she introduced this project where she was going to bring over a dozen American teachers. elderly, 60 to 65 years old, semi-retired women who were teachers, you know, professional teachers. And she was going to get them to workshop her teachers. She had 100 teachers at this school, 2,500 students, from K right through to year 12. So during the summer holidays, she's got this program where none of her teachers are going to get any holiday whatsoever. None. And unpaid. And every single day from Monday to Friday, these American teachers are going to workshop the Thai teachers on child-centered learning. You know, what's it all about? And this is a monumental task, you've got to understand, because the teachers, they themselves are the product of the rote learning system, you know, and so they see their role as the disseminator of information, and that's it, you know. And of course, hands-on learning is nothing to do with that at all. It's all about inclusivity, and the children decide what they want to learn about, and you know, they have a lot more freedom. So I became a translator, and these women arrived, and I had at my disposal a big yellow bus, big yellow school bus, a driver, and was told that when we're not working, you've got to take these women to places that they want to go and see. You know, they're here on a holiday. They even paid their own airfares, these women, and they were dedicated. So away we went. You know, we began to to train the teachers, and then we would have like groups. It was quite draining for me to translate all this, you know, because they're very interested in the content, the Thai teachers, you know, and they're asking questions, and the trainer's saying, well, hang on a bit, we're not ready for that yet, let's just get on with this. And it was quite draining for me. But I was told by the principal that my job is to make sure these women have everything they want. The third day they're there, that they had their own quarters, you know, I go in there and say, you all right, ladies, you know, anything you need? Yeah, we could do with getting liquored up, one of them said. And I'm like, what, you mean you want to drink? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So try some of your local whiskey. So I go across the street and buy a couple of bottles of Sangtip and some ice and some Coke, and poof, we soon get that demolished, and it's now like 9 o'clock at night, and the spokesman of them, she kind of looked at me and said, look, you know, we know how it is over here. You know, we know what you have going over here for the guys, you know, and all these sleazy bars. Well, we want to go to one for the girls. I'm like, wow. They do have them, don't they? I said, well, I've heard they do, yeah. So I kind of do my best to get them on another subject, but oh no. One of them just went, 40 minutes, we'll be ready to roll. So I have to get the driver down there, and you know, we're off to Patpong. And yes, very quickly we end up in this place where it's like guys wearing white underwear, you know, and dancing around, and they all got incredibly drunk and had these guys sitting on their laps and necking with them and everything. And it was just unbelievable. And we arrived home back at the school at 2 a.m. and we got to be working at 7. When I get into the meeting room the following morning with all my bleary, they're all ready and raring to go, and these are 65-year-old women, you know. Boy! And it was just, and the boss never knew. My boss never knew we were doing this. And they wanted me to take them to places where foreigners don't go. Let's go to a snooker bar and get liquored up. Okay, all that kind of stuff. It was just incredible. Another time with that job, the American teachers had gone home, so the principal says to me, okay, we've got a 2-week trip to New Zealand. I have some educators in New Zealand, and they're going to train 47 of our teachers over a period of a 10-day workshop, and we'll have 3 days holiday. So I'm going as the translator. Well, I'd already done that, and I thought, oh great, you know, never been to New Zealand, nice holiday, and off we go. And we're on the plane, you know, and everything's hunky-dory, and were coming into land near Christchurch, and then one of the teachers just came along with 47 passports and 47 entry cards and said, you know. And I then realised that I had to take care of their every whim. And it was such a stressful experience for me. They couldn't speak a word of English, and every one of them wanted my attention at the same time. You know, it was a nightmare. One of the funniest situations was we get to Christchurch, we're off the plane, and all the teachers, including 3 nuns, right? They're from Chayapum province, black and white, everything, you know, we're nuns. And they're waiting by the baggage belt, and a beagle sniffer dog came up and started to sniff near one of these one of these nuns, and she kicked it and lifted it off the ground, and it went yip, yelped, you know. And the handler, female handler, was over straight away. You dare you kick my dog? And I go over there and what's going on? And I pulled the immigration lady to one side and said, listen, these teachers, they're from villages in Thailand where there's stray dogs everywhere. And she said she just thought it was a dog that somebody had let into the airport. She kicked my dog. If there's any damage, I could fine her $2,000 right now. So in the end, the immigration woman said to me, the handler, she said, okay, she's got to apologise to my dog. So I go over to the Thai nun teacher and say, you have to white the... I'm not whiting any dog. Well, you're going to be here. We'll meet you on the way back then. So she whited the dog and she was let out.
And how long were you in New Zealand for?
Okay, we were there for two and a half weeks. We stayed in Christchurch and we were all in homestays. All of us.
And how did the Thai people...
They had a problem with a lot of things. One girl, okay. we would all meet at 7:30 in the morning at this campus, you know, and I was always there early, and this one girl came up and she said to me, oh, Mr. Paul, it's all in Thai, you know, she said, I don't know what to do with my host family. I said, why? She said, well, every morning at breakfast, the man looks at me and says, and where are you going to die? She said, I don't know where or when I'm going to die. And he keeps asking me this question. And I just go, don't know. And I said, no, to die means today. Oh. And that was okay after that, yeah. Then there was another time when I'm walking through Christchurch in the evening, and I've been around, have a look at a few of the pubs and everything, and I see 3 of the Thai teachers on the other side of the road. And they're like, Mr. Paul, Mr. Paul, Mr. Paul. So I go across, I said, what's the matter? They said, we've been standing here for 3 hours waiting for this red light to go to green. I said, oh, you have to press the button.
Oh my God.
They didn't know that.
Okay.
So yeah, it was funny.
So let's get into now. You've got funny stories. You're an interesting guy, right? So let's talk about the first time you ever met your Thai mother-in-law.
Okay. Well, I decided that she was the one, and she kind of figured she wanted to spend the rest of her life with me. So I said, what do we do from now? She said, well, my mother her father had died when she was young. She said, my mother's a pretty straightforward girl, woman, you know, spade's a spade. She's only 7 or 8 years older than me. So I had all the money I had in the world, which was 20,000 baht. And I get up there and I find out pretty quickly that a Swiss guy in the village next door married a local girl 3 months ago, and he bought the family a new house and pickups and motorcycles and gold. And I'm like, oh God, you know, they're going to be expecting this from me. So I go to see the mother-in-law, and why the mother-in-law? She looks at me. And I had a couple of beers for Dutch courage and went into her and said, listen, you know, I love your daughter, and I'm not a wealthy man. You know, there are some foreigners who are not wealthy, and I just happen to be one of them, but I'm rich in heart. You know, I said, look, I'll make you a promise. Your daughter and any children that we have shall never want for anything, and you too I'll include you in that. I will support my family and my new mother-in-law. But I've only got 20,000 baht. And she just went, she smiled. I didn't know what her, and she left the room, and I didn't know whether that was okay or not. And a bit later on, my wife says, yeah, she's fine with that. She's fine with that. She understands your situation. So she told everybody, you know, all the neighbours and everything else, there's going to be no big party here. And there wasn't. There wasn't a big party. But we went back there 2 months later. We were now legally married. And I said to my wife, we should have a party. I've got a bit of money, you know, we should have a party. And she said, well, actually, she said, we're here for a party. I said, oh, our wedding party? She says, no. Mum's just had the roof done on her house, so it's like a housewarming party. Oh, okay. When's that happening then? Oh, tomorrow. Oh, okay. And we're going to be there for like a week, you know. So there's a shop across the street. So I go across the street and think, well, I should do the right thing, you know. So I buy 3 cases of beer chang, and half a dozen bottles of Lao Khao, and I have it taken over there. And I said to the mother, for tomorrow, you know. And I'm sitting outside there, and early in the morning, a girl arrives, puts out a little table on the mother-in-law's porch and opens this big book and just sits there. I'm across the street in the shop having a beer. All of a sudden, a beer truck arrives and all the beer is unloaded. I mean the whole damn truck, with about 8 cases of Lao Khao 40 degree as well. Then all these people started arriving, pigs started arriving, tents started arriving, and I'm like, this is a party, isn't it? She said, oh yeah. And so I watch over the next 2 or 3 days how when everybody arrives, they all go to this little desk and there, you know, gives us some money. And I said to my wife later on, what's going on there then? She said, well, out here, she said, if you have a wedding or you have a funeral or you built a new house, you invite everybody to come and they give you some money. And that amount gets logged. And so if you went to Suwon's housewarming party and you gave her 5,000 baht, then maybe 3 years down the road, you have some event, and so you invite her. Well, she's got to give you more than you gave her.
That's the tradition.
Yeah, more. So it could be another 100 baht or 200 baht. And when I looked at this, I realised that in fact, my wife said to me, she said, the only reason my mum could afford to finish the house was the money she got from this party. And, you know, and so I got to talk to the mother-in-law about it. And she said, well, it's not all as easy as that. She said, yeah, all these people have come here and given me all this money, you know, and it's a 200,000 or 300,000 baht. But I've got to pay out more than that over the next few years because I have to go to their events, you know. So it's almost like a cooperative, if you know what I mean, where they pull their money together and then they do the same thing.
Like a community kind of thing.
Yeah. So that was an eye-opener for me.
So you've been here for 36 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Thai people?
Generally speaking, I think Thais are great, you know. I've had some wonderful friendships with Thai people. They've always been very nice and sincere to me. I've never felt safer anywhere than in Thailand. And yeah, I think their education system needs changing, but you know, they're survivors. They've always survived and they always will. They tend to take too much from the Western way of life when perhaps they shouldn't. But
so when you came here in 1985, right? Compare 1985 to 2022. What has changed in Thai society?
What has changed in Thai society? Well, they're far more au fait with us now. You know, we're everywhere now, so it's not such a big deal for them to see us, I always find them to be genuine people. I find them to be genuine, and you know, one piece of advice I would give to anyone who wants to spend any amount of time in this country is learn the language, because that's the key to really understanding these people. I made a mistake. I never learned to read and write because I thought, don't need it, because I was wrong. It's a phonetic language, you know, it's totally sound, and then if you can't read, then you don't know what the tone is. I managed it because you hear it enough, you know. You know where the rises are and where the falls are and where the lows are and the highs are. But yeah, learning the language is the key to understanding these people. And they are very curious by nature. You know, you will be asked when you've just met somebody, you know, which of your children do you love most? Or how much money do you make? You know, and they're just curious people.
Yeah, I think the question, how much money do you make, for a Westerner, that's
right.
We consider that rude, but for Thai people it's not rude, and I'm used to that question. Or
the best answer is not enough.
Yeah, that's it, never enough. Anyway, Paul, we've got another one coming, because I've just got an idea now for another video, and we're gonna do it right now. So we're gonna stop this one. So if you like this one, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. I'm very interested to hear what you think about Paul's stories, and yeah, just got an idea for another one. We're gonna stop the camera now and shoot the next one, so see you on the next one.